So out and the guitar. Guitar. All right. And Jaiva Dharma. Okay. Okay, we will chant. All right, just really simple. Jeev Jago. Hold on. All righty. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Mora Chanda Borai. Jeev Jago, Jeev Jago, Mora Chanda Borai. Kotanitra Yamaya Sachirukode Kotanindra Yamaya Sachirukode Majiva Padhyaya say Samsara Vita Reini Mulia Vile Dumi Avijama Majiva Pariyaya say Samsara Vita Reini Mulia Ruile Dumi Avijayapare Sumare Lajayami Voinu Avadara Tomare Lajayami Voinu Avadara Jaitomara Amivina Banduara Jaya Jaitomara Eneje Shogi Maya Nasi Baradan Gi Aninam Mama Shoni Maya paralak ni Namawa mantra Rahujumi Mandi Makati Vinod Prabhu Jarane Moria Say Harinam Mantra Loinaro Magia Wakati Vinod Prabhu Jarane Priya Say Harinam Mantra Loinaro Magia Chicago, Chicago, Orachanabo, Lady, Nitra, Go Maya, Isachirako, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahansa Paravitacharya also Teta Satashi Shimad His Divine Grace Savaya Chalanada Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha, Shiva Sri Gaur Bhaktivedanta Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopikapanath Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Munamai Ki Jai Shrimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Samaniti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deja Tarne Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So, let's read the translation. Lord Gaurachandra is calling. Wake up, sleeping soul. Wake up, sleeping souls. How long will you sleep in the lap of the witch called Maya? You've forgotten the way of devotional service and are lost in the cycle of birth and death. I have descended just to save you. I am your only true friend. Other than me, what friend do you have? I have brought the medicine that will wipe out the disease of illusion from which you suffer. Take this great chant for deliverance. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, the names of Hari. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, falling at the Lord's lotus feet, takes shelter of the Harinam Mantra, the Lord's holy names. Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki Jai. So now we'll continue with our study of the Jaiva Dharma. And tomorrow we'll be traveling. I just want to check to see if I'll be able to give class tomorrow according to the time schedule. So I'll just give you all due warning. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I should be able to. Anyway, we will text everybody if I'm not able to, of some delays or something like that. Okay, so let's go on to the Jaiva Dharma. Om Gana Timidanda Shah Ganajana Chilakaya Chakshurun Miritam Yena Tasmai Shigadave Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. So let's share the screen. And here we go. Where is that? Here it is. All right. So we've been talking about Vyabhachari Bhavas, which are also called Sanchari Bhavas, and which, because they move, Chari means to move. Everybody understands that? So Sanchari or Vyabhachari Bhavas are the emotions, there's 33 categories of them, that move throughout your body and mind and take over your consciousness. That's Sanchari or Vyabhachari. So, let's say, let's go back a little bit to the last paragraph. When the independent Sanchari Bhavas are three types: devoid of rati, contacting rati, and having a touch of rati. When they appear in unsuitable persons, they be of two types. Appearing in hostile persons are improperly attributed, and they have 4 stages: appearance, conjunction, conflict, and disappearance. Oh my God. It's a little technical here. So Brajanath wants to understand some of this terminology. He asked the Goswami, Brajanath said, I understand the production of the Vyabhachari Bhava. What is conjunction? Conjunction means appearance. Goswami said, when a bhava combines with similar or different types of bhava, it is called sandhi or conjunction. Inertness caused by something pleasing and inertness caused by something unpleasing are a conjunction of bhavas of similar nature. Emotions, bhavas means emotions. When joy and worry combine, here's an example, it is a conjunction of different types of bhavas. Interesting, conjunction. It's interesting. Conjunction means a combination. So Vrajana said, what is the conflict? Bhava Shavalya. When bhavas conflict with each other, it is called Bhava Savalya. When Kamsa heard about Krishna, he experienced anger and terror. That is Bhava Savalya. There's conflicting emotions. Brajana says, what is the disappearance of bhava? Bhava Shanti. When a bhava which has become prominent disappears, it is called Bhava Shanti. When the children of Braj could not see Krishna, they became worried. Vyabhachari Bhava, that's their worry, is the type of bhava or emotion. On hearing the sound of the flute, far away, far off, their worry disappeared. This is called Bhava Shanti. In other words, the bhava disappears. Brajanath said, please say if there's anything else to know about this. Goswami said the Vyabhachari Bhavas are 33. There's one sthai bhava, that means for an individual, and 7 secondary sthai bhavas, which I will describe later. Now, these are sometimes called the rasas, the indirect rasas, and the direct ras. Of course, ras means taste. And along with the taste, there's a rati, or a particular type of love, and along with the rati and the taste, rasa, there's a particular type or combination of bhavas. Okay, so what does that mean? And there's sthai bhavas. There's the stable bhava, and there's 7 secondary bhavas, which are the secondary, related with the secondary rasas, which are like shock, anger, humor, ghastliness, horror, things like that. So we'll talk about that later, like the Babaji will too. These 41 bhavas, so 7 and 1, 7 and 1 combined. Anyway, there's 41 bhavas, whatever. Transformation of the senses body. Thus, they're functions of the heart that cause bhavas. What bhavas do they cause? So it's a combination of the different stable bhavas who combine in different ways. Let me explain. Sometimes there's sthai bhava means, all right, the sthai bhava means someone has the emotion, let's say, of being in Krishna's mother. Okay. So sometimes the emotion of being Krishna's mother mixes with the emotion of fear for Krishna. That's a secondary bhava. So when these bhavas mix, or there's a manifestation of the bhavas, these bhavas give rise to the 8 goodness bhavas, goodness emotions, and the anubhavas. Anubhavas means the voluntary expressions, external expressions, within the vibhava, the thing that stimulates. Let me try to give a practical example. Okay, so Yashoda Mai, okay, she has the bhava of a mother, the love, the emotion of a mother. Then she hears, what does she hear? She hears that Krishna has jumped into the Kaliya lake, and there's this big serpent, Kaliya Nag. And so she has fear. So that's the mixture. And that mixture, or actually the hearing is the vibhava, and then what she does, the anubhava, is she runs to where the bank of the Yamuna is. I hope that explains that. Prajnath said, are they all natural? Goswami said, no, some are natural and some are incidental. The sthai bhava, the fixed bhava of the devotee, is his natural bhava. We all have a fixed natural bhava, which we haven't recognized at this particular point. The vyabhachari bhavas are generally incidental. So, in other words, the sthai bhava is your bhava. Let's say you are a coward boy, so your bhava is friendship, a feeling or an emotion of friendship. And so the vyabhachari bhavas are incidental. Sometimes in the motion of friendship, you'll be missing Krishna and faint. Okay? That's incidental. The sthai bhava is natural. It's part of your constitution. Brajanath said, do all devotees have the same bhava? Obviously not. Goswami said, no, there are various types of devotees. Thus, their mental inclinations are various. According to the mind, there's difference in the manifestation of bhava. We're talking about the spiritual mind, Prabhus, not the material mind. A mind may be heavy, light, or deep. And there's some people with heavy minds that I know very well. And there is such a difference in the manifestation of bhava, or emotions. But by nature, nectar is always liquid. The heart of Krishna's devotee is like nectar by nature. Today, this is enough. You heard enough. This is really complicated. Tomorrow, I will explain the sthai bhava. Sthai means the fixed emotion. Vijay Kumar and Brajanath offered respects and left. So, Bhaktivinoda Thakur explains in his footnote, there are more, or maybe it's not Bhaktivinoda Thakur's footnote, maybe Banu Maharaj's. There are more varieties: Garishta, heavy; Gambhira, deep; Mahishta, expansive; Karkasha, hard hearts. Do not show much external symptoms. Lagishta, light; Uttana, spread on the surface; Kushidishta, small; and Komala, soft hearts, show transformation to the extreme. That's from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.4, 258 to 259. Softness is of 3 degrees, like beeswax, butter, and nectar. In relation to these, bhava is like the heat of the sun. That's from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 2.4.266. That means by having or experiencing a spiritual bhava, your heart melts. Okay, that's basically what it means. All right, we get to the last type of descriptions of bhava right now. We're on a very high platform of devotional service. 28th chapter. Wow, we are moving. We've actually done, according to this, 437 pages so far. Wow, that's a lot. Rasa, Sthai Bhava. Vrajana said, Prabhu, I see that Vibhava, Anubhava, Sattvika Bhava, and Vyabhachari Bhavas are all Bhavas. Where's Sthai Bhava among them? So Vibhava Bhava, again, just to review, means that which stimulates your love and emotions, like Krishna or things related with Krishna. Got it? Anubhava is how you express voluntarily that stimulation. Let's say you see a peacock feather and you express an anubhava like Gauranga, shout Gauranga, roll on the ground, whatever. And then you have Sattvika Bhava, which means by your nature you are connected with the transcendental mode of Buddhism, which is called Sattva, and you manifest these 8 symptoms, which were listed before. And then you have Vyabhachari Bhavas, which are intermittent ecstasies. In other words, they don't occur all the time, and they come without warning. You can't control them, and they move throughout the body and just bewilder you. So these are the types of bhavas, or motions, or categories of motions. Now the final type is called the sthaya bhava, or steady emotion. Goswami said they're all bhavas, they're all motions, but among all the bhavas, that bhava which is the doer, which controls non-contrary and contrary bhavas, which rules the other bhavas as the king, is called the sthaya bhava. In other words, steady bhava, steady emotion. Like if one is, this is in reference to an individual. If one is the mother of Krishna, if one is the friend of Krishna, if one is the lover of Krishna, one is a servant of Krishna, that rules the other emotions, because that's the foundational bhava for you. Yes, a foundational actually would be better explanation than steady bhava. Foundational emotion. Like, let's say my mother's relationship with me is a steady emotion. It's not the emotion didn't change to a friendship. It didn't change to, wait, I didn't want to say the other things because it's not even proper. It didn't change to servitude, although servitude is part of it. But still, her bhava was, her sthaya bhava relationship to me was always the same. So the rati, the love of Krishna, which takes shelter, ashraya means shelter, in the heart of the devotee is called the sthaya bhava, which is what we just said, the natural love that a devotee has for Krishna, which is fixed. Like right now, each and every one of you is either a servant of Krishna, a friend of Krishna, a parent of Krishna, or a gopi. Okay? Every one of you. It's a question of waking up. When you wake up, then you'll understand who you are. That's as simple as that. When I wake up in the morning, I remember who I am. Because I remember at night too. But let's say, for regular people, they forget who they are. They forget where they are. They forget their responsibilities. Just blissful ignorance. In other words, ignorance means to ignore reality. That's called the mode of ignorance, the mode of ignoring reality. The ashraya shelter was included in a lambana within vibhava among the various ingredients. Let me explain. Oh my God. So in that particular case, okay, a lambana Vibhava means that which stimulates your love. I think I have to keep explaining these things all over again because for most of you it may appear like, what was he saying? Doesn't make sense. A vibhava means something which stimulates your emotion for Krishna. And there's two types of vibhava. One type is called alambana, which means directly Krishna. And directly Krishna is the vishaya, or the enjoyer, or the focal point of one's love. And the person who loves is called the ashraya. Ashraya means the shelter of the love, the person who has the love. So in other words, the person who has the love is described in vibhava, the whole concept of vibhava, because he or she's the person getting stimulated. Got it? It's pretty easy to understand. The bhava makes all other bhavas dependent on itself and leads them to assist in some rasa and cause some rasa. Okay. That bhava, the sthai bhava, the steady, the foundational bhava, or foundational emotion, makes all the other emotions dependent on itself. Like my mother, all of her emotions are dependent on the maternal affection. And leads them to assist in some, they mix together and they assist in some taste and cause some taste. They may assist a taste that's already there, or they may actually cause a taste to occur. So I think that's pretty easy. The sthai bhava is the very form of taste, but assumes the role of tasting. So the foundational emotion is the taste, just rephrasing it, but also it's the tasting of the taste. A particular taste, like the taste of parental love, the taste of conjugal love, the taste of friendship, the taste of servitude. Studying this deeply, please distinguish this sthai bhava from other bhavas. The rati, the love, in the form of the sthai bhava has two types, primary and secondary. Okay. So your love in the form of your foundational emotion in relationship to Krishna has a primary and secondary aspect. So what is it, Brajanath said, what is the primary ratiya, primary love? In the explanation of bhava bhakti, that is emotional devotional service, you heard that rati, love, was shuddha sattva vishaya shatma. This is the primary rati. That means the combination or the permutations, combinations that occur due to someone coming in touch with the transcendental mode of goodness. Let me just read the footnote here. By its own arrangement, Swayam means original. Bhava, emotion, acts as a previous and later states as both cause and effect. That's pretty easy to understand. Factually, bhava is the taste or delight itself, and by its portion, which experiences the sweetness of Krishna. So bhava is the experience, and it's the taste too. Anyway, still, too, rati, love or emotion, by another portion becomes the cause of tasting Krishna's many forms and activities which are mostly desired by the experiencer. Its samvit means cognitive or awareness, portion accomplishes this effectively. However, by the ladini portion, that means the pleasure portion of the soul and of Krishna, love, rati, simply remains as a blissful state. It is the experience of bliss, effect. So in other words, just to put it simply, bhava and rati are the cause and effect of each other. Okay. Rajana said, when we studied ordinary alankara, as poetry, what we thought was love was far from deliberating on the Shuddha transformations of the mode of goodness. Now I've understood that ras for the Lord arises in the mental disposition of the Atma soul within the pure form of the individual soul, the Jiva, pure Swarup. The love, the rati described by scholars of Alankara, like poetry, is experienced after taking shelter of the mind and heart of the subtle body and gross body of the bound Jiva. In other words, the love of this material world is dependent upon the soul taking shelter of the gross and subtle body, and the love in this material world, to get scatological, is based on the hormones in your body. That's why when people change their gender or attempt to change their gender, they have to take hormones, because it changes the shape of the body, changes the mentality, changes what you're attracted to. So just think about this. The love of the material world is just chemistry. Well, it's organic chemistry. Yeah, it's organic chemistry, but it's chemistry. You know, if I give you the right hormones, you'll fall in love with any damn thing. Just like, all right, let me give you an example. Sometimes in the armed services of the United States and also the summer camps, they will give the people something in their food so they don't manifest material love anymore. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you may be tempted to give it to someone. So that, you know, we don't want to romanticize organic chemicals. I mean, they're cute. Hey, don't give that away, Gopal. They're cute. I mean, I love organic chemicals because they're really complicated and they help me explain how life comes from life. That's, I love organic chemicals. Not because I'm in love with organic chemicals, because they stimulate my thought processes, and then I can explain how organic chemicals, they actually lead one to understand that there was design. I have now understood that the ras that you have explained, the very wealth of the pure jiva, the ras, the taste, is experienced a little by the mercy of the ladini in the bound jiva. So the pleasure potency, we all have pleasure potency built in, because we are sat, chit, and ananda by nature. But that sat is covered, it becomes asat, means temporary. That chit is covered, it becomes, instead of knowledge, it becomes ignorance. And the ananda is covered, it becomes, well, in Sanskrit, nirananda, which means misery. Misery. Anyway, whatever. Now I want to know all the types of pure love, he's asking. Love, love, love. See, in Brajanath's understanding of tattva, the different categories, all this different categorization and definitions. Guru Goswami, in great bliss, tears flowing from his eyes, embraced Brajanath and said, I have been fortunate to obtain a disciple like you. Now remember, he's the Siksha disciple. Now please listen to what I say. The primary love has two types, Swarta and Parartha. No, we better go a little slow with this stuff. What is the Swa? It means his own artha, interest. What is the Swarta primary rati? Love. Swarta rati, the primary rati or love, nourishes itself by all non-contrary bhavas. In other words, we talked about how the vyabhachari bhavas especially, they would contradict each other, like anger and love is a contradiction. Like when Yashoda Mai was chasing after Krishna, she was angry, manifesting anger, and she but also had love for Krishna. So, but that's a contrary. So a non-contrary bhav would be someone's experiencing, let's say Yabachari bhav. One cries when one sees Krishna, one's hair's done on end when one sees Krishna. Okay? Those are both very compatible bhavas, Vyabhachari bhavas. So the one's own love is nourished by non-contrary or compatible bhavas and decreases by contrary bhavas. That's interesting. Rajanath said, what is the parartha rati? And the Goswami said the same rati, love, that accepts non-contrary and contrary bhavas, I mean contrary emotions and non-contrary emotions, and restricts itself is called the parartha, nourishing other bhavas, primary rati. There's another division of the primary rati. So here's an explanation. The primary rati subordinates itself to a secondary. Primary love subordinates itself to a secondary love which dominates for a short time. So primary means continual. This is getting a little technical. Prajna said, please tell me. Goswami said the primary loves are divided into 5. Shuddha, pure, Dasha, servitude, Sakya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. So that, for those of you who don't know that, it's basically Krishna consciousness. Shuddha means basically passive but completely spiritual relationship with Krishna. Just like when you look at Krishna and you say, you are great, and you don't do anything about it. You're overwhelmed. You just look at him. You're beautiful, you're beautiful, you're beautiful. That's Shuddha, which is Shanta Ras. Then Dasha Ras means, I'm going to serve you, Krishna. I'm going to be your servant. Satya Ras means, Krishna's my buddy. But Saya Ras means, Krishna's my son. And Madhurya Ras means, Krishna is my lover. So these are the 5 different rasas. That's all. And also 5 different ratis, types of love. And 5 different types of sthai bhavas. Because here we're talking about sthai bhavas, okay? So sthai bhavas manifest in 5 different categories. So this is, just as the sun reflected in crystal and other objects appears differently, rati, or love, is seen to be different in different receptacles. Receptacles means persons. You got it? Of the sthai bhava. Different persons have different sthai bhavas. We've spoken about this before. You know, the language may be a little complicated here. It means you have inherently a particular relationship with Krishna, which is your perfection. You're either Krishna's passive adorer, or Krishna's servant, or Krishna's friend, or Krishna's parent, or Krishna's conjugal lover. So love, obviously, is different. Let's say if you have a different relationship, you may be, for example, let's take an example. You may have someone who really appreciates you, but they don't do a damn thing for you. And their love for you is appreciation. Then you may have someone who just wants to serve you. Guru Maharaj. That's the relationship you have with the spiritual master. You understand? That's dasha. You have a relationship with dasha. You don't have the other relationships with the spiritual master. Although he's your best friend, but he's not like a friend like we have in the material world that you just like punch him in the arm and say, "Hey, Guru Maharaj, how you doing, Guru Dev? How you doing, old buddy?" Not like that. Okay, so now we're going to get to the point where these different types of love are described, which are connected to the different rasas, the tastes of each of those types of love, which are connected to the different types of bhavas, which are expressed in the 5 different types of relationships. Okay? 5 types of relationships. Servitude, adoration, servitude, friendship, parental, and finally conjugal. So this gets really technical. There are 3 types of Shuddha Rati. Shuddha Rati. This is from Nectar Devotion to Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Shuddha Rati means the passive adoration of Krishna. Samanya, Samanya, Swacha, and Shanti. These are 3 types. One finds Samanya Rati, that type of love for Krishna in ordinary people and small children. Okay. You know, a little kid will be watching. I'll tell you, a little kid will be watching that Little Krishna series. And it's going, "Isn't Krishna great?" That's Samanya Rati. The primary Rati is called Swacha Rati because it has the quality of crystal. From associating with many types of devotees and for performing various sadhanas practice approved by them. Persons with this, in other words, one has to really be performing sadhana. Persons with this Swacha Rati sometimes praise the Krishna, or praise Krishna as the master, sometimes joke with him as a friend, sometimes protect him as their son, and sometimes attain joy on seeing him as their lover. Sometimes they think of him as Paramatma. That's interesting. So they keep like vacillating, but the main thing is Shantaras. The person with Shanta Rati has Shama, he's equal poised. Non-differentiation of the knower and the object within the mind is called Shama. Wow. That's interesting. So, in other words, in your mind, you think you become one with God. So this is interesting. Yeah, so really, Shantaras, let's just reiterate, this is actually very deep. Shantaras actually is 3 categories. Like sometimes I find it described as something that's not there in the spiritual world because it's an impersonal understanding. The impersonalists are in Shantaras. And sometimes I find it described as, just people appreciating Krishna, ordinary people appreciating Krishna. And sometimes I find it described as entities in the spiritual world who sometimes, this is not their sthai bhava, do other things too. Wow. That's why there's a touch of servitude, a touch of friendship, a touch of all these things. But the primary, the sthai, the foundational emotion is that of appreciation. That's interesting. So that really answers my question, a question I had a long time. Like, what is this Shanta Ras? The peaceful one, the one that comes, or appreciation, or adulation, relationship without service. Well, there's three types of people who are in Shanta Ras. Again, I'm reiterating so everybody will understand. One type actually is just the ordinary people, like that people go to church. Our Father art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, etc. Or people or children who watch Little Krishna. And another type is the devotees who actually perform sadhana, a practice, a cultivation of devotional service, and they sometimes do some service, sometimes joke with Krishna. It's so interesting. That's good. Wow. So three types. The innocent people who are just not yet devotees, the devotees, and who also can do service too. It's not just pure Shanta Ras. And then the impersonalists who see non-differentiation. This is called Shama. Shama is equipoise. So Rati, or love, in Braj. Oops. Okay, hold on a second. Rati has two types: Kevala, pure, and Sankula, or mixed. Mixed with other ratis. Okay. In other words, their particular love is just strictly confined to servitude, to I would say adoration, servitude, parental, conjugal, and friendship. Okay. Rati has two types, or pure, Kevala or pure, and Sankula or mixed. Persons like Rasala and Sridham in Braja, they are the coward boys, have Rati, love, unmixed with any other Rati. In other words, their type of love is always the same. That is called Kevala. Kevala means one, just one. Uddhava, Bhima, Mukara, Radharani's grandmother, and others have Rati mixed with other types of Rati. Because you see, Uddhava performs many different functions. He's Krishna's cousin, which is sort of like a friendship relation, Krishna's advisor, Krishna's servants. So it really gets mixed. And of course, Bhima, too. If you read the Mahabharata, you'll understand that. That is called Sankula, mixed. The Brajanath asked an interesting question. Previously, I thought that, whoops, it's going slow. Previously, I thought that Shuddha Rati, that means just the adoration, the Shanta Ras, did not exist in the people of Braj. Now I see that Shanta Rati exists to some degree in Braja. You know, I also, in the past, have thought like that too. But it does, like a tree is in Shanta Ras, but it slips into rendering service, you know, the shade, and the fruit, and everything like that to Krishna. Interesting. In material Alankara, poetry, writings, novels, Rati, love with qualities of Shanta, does not exist. It's interesting. Usually in novels and poetry, you don't have someone like, just like, oh, you're so great, is love. It's just, it is seen to exist in Rati for Param Brahman, you know, a taste for the supreme God without a name. Wow, this is really cool. Now, please explain the qualities of Dasha. All right, tomorrow we'll get to this, hopefully. Dasharas, servitude. So, with that, those difficult understandings in mind, we will stop sharing. Give me a second. And let's see. Allow you all to unmute yourselves. All right. Give me a second. A few minutes for questions. Okay, you are all allowed to unmute yourselves by my mercy. So, okay, Radhika Rupa. Oh, it's good to see you. It's a newly initiated devotee from Orlando, the land of Disney. So you can unmute yourself and you can ask a question.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisances of gracious from God.
So my blessings. Good to hear
Oh,
from you. So what's your question?
my question is, I guess, regarding the Sai Babas, like the different relationships with the Lord, I guess, whenever you look at just like the relationships of like the gopis with Krishna or like Mother Yashoda, and you see all of like, I guess those higher aboves, rasas with Krishna, those devotees, they will never have the desire to turn away from Krishna. And we have made the decision to believe that we are separate from Krishna. So I guess like how is it that we would um be like I guess in those bhavas? I guess that was confusing me a little.
Yeah. Okay. So actually, the point is that no matter what relationship one has with Krishna, one is satisfied, and no matter what relationship one has with Krishna, including the conjugal relationship, there's always free will. Now, we're not talking about Krishna's eternal associates or the Shaktis, the energies of Krishna, like Srimati Radharani, the original Shakti, and all of her personal expansions. But we're talking about uh, living entities, jiva souls, who go back to Godhead, or were back to Godhead, or were in Godhead. Even in conjugal ras, they can get upset with Krishna or being the center. There's no stoppage, or there's no reason why they can't get upset or want to imitate Krishna like that and enjoy from the standpoint of Krishna and come to this material world. So it's not that one in conjugal rasa is any more secure than one in dasha or servitude. Because servitude is intense too. I mean, they also have intense emotions when they're serving Krishna. Like there's this one devotee, Duruka, who was fanning Krishna, and he just cursing his ecstasies so he can continue fanning Krishna. He's just like, wow. He just, he's trying to fight off ecstasies, the Vyabhachari Bhavas, so he can continue doing his service. So, and all the intensity, of course, the gopis experience the highest intensity. I mean, there's no doubt about it. So, but the intensity is intense. I mean, it's more, even when you talk about Shantaras, what to speak of the higher rasas, the intense emotions and ecstasies is infinitely more intense than any sort of relationship we have in this world. So, but still, the living entity has the free will, and the living entity can make a choice at any time, and somehow or other, where whatever relationship we had or whatever we were doing in the spiritual world, we decided to come down. So the upshot of the answer to your question is that we cannot understand what our rasa is just by the fact that we're in the material world. It doesn't mean that we were of a lower rasa, or it doesn't mean we're a higher rasa. It means that we're here. We made the choice. And it's not indicative at all. Being here in the material world is not indicative or indicating what we were or what our eternal relationship is. I mean, there's many devotees who were before they were in the lowest, the lowest situation, and then they are gopis. It happens. It happens. I mean, there's that Bilvamangal Thakur story where there was this one devotee, Bilvamangal Thakur, and he's a gopi in the spiritual world. And so Bilvamangal Thakur was very attached to a prostitute named Chintamani, nice name, prostitute. He was very attached to her, and the prostitute actually was kind of cool because she told him that if you are as attached to Krishna as you are to this gross body, You'd be a pure devotee. And he actually accepted the prostitute's instructions as the voice of his spiritual master. Her name was Chintamani. Chintamani Prakata Sadmasu. So, yeah, so somehow or other, yes, conjugal is much more intense. That is a fact. But also, our attachment to this mature world is intense too. We're just like, we grabbed onto Maya. So, we decided. As soon as you decide, Krishna fulfills your desire. Krishna in the Gita says that one wants to worship a particular deity, even in the mature world, then Krishna makes one's faith strong and increases one's desire. Let's say if you really want something, the desire becomes more and more and more and more intense. So when you want to emulate Krishna or copy Krishna, then your desire becomes more and more and more intense. Okay, that's interesting. That's a good question. Thank
Thank you, Maharaj. That was a great explanation. I think I understand it a little better now.
you. Okay. So yeah, Radhagrupa just took initiation in Orlando, Florida, the place of Disney World. Anyway, so we didn't do the initiation in Disney World. That would have been unique. So, Rishikesh, you have a question.
Yes, Gurudev, please accept my messages.
Hariom.
Uh, Gurudev, what's the easiest way or most effective way to get Rati?
To get Rati? Good question. Uh, let's see. Help build Krishna's temple in North Carolina. No, I mean, if I was at all inclined at a conflict of interest, that's that's the answer I would give. So anyway, go to all the hotel owners in North Carolina because you're Gujarati and convince them to help the temple. Anyway, so seriously, the most effective way is by association with great devotees. I mean, that's, as far as I know, that's the only effective way in this world. That Sadhu Sangha, you don't know that verse. A little association with a great devotee gives you all perfection, even for a few moments. And that association is one of service. Mahatseva Mahura Vimuktes, is what Lord Rishabhadev states in the fifth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. That serving a great devotee, having devotion, that is my realization by serving Srila Prabhupada, by being dedicated to Prabhupada, whatever, that creates my good fortune. And, if I have any devotional qualities, it's due to my service and dedication to Prabhupada. And when anybody asked the question, reading Prabhupada's books, that's part of service. Prabhupada said read his books. So, serving Prabhupada means having a balanced program. Balanced chanting, balanced reading, balanced serving the mission. Because if we see people who just ostensibly serve the mission, in other words, they try to preach a lot and they neglect their sadhana, that's not service. Service has to be done according to Shruti and Smriti. In other words, the instructions of Prabhupada. You have balanced program. And so if you do that, yes, Prabhupada's good books give association, but you don't just read Prabhupada's books all day long. That's not what Prabhupada wants. Like Hare Krishna's in the holy names too, but you don't just chant Hare Krishna all day long. You please the pure devotee. That's the point. And pleasing starts with sadhana. Sadhana means Jeev Jago, wake up early in the morning and either go to Mangalarti or have Mangalarti, quick Mangalarti if you like. Chant your rounds early. That's what it means. And then it starts with serving the mission throughout the rest of the day. That's important. So anyway, there's another question, quick, and then we'll answer. Please, my basis is Shantaras and Braj a temporary position? No. waiting to develop the higher rati? No, it's not. Shantaras is a permanent position for most people. Of course, Prabhupada did say you can change your position, but generally Prabhupada said, you're going to be satisfied with whatever you are. Just like Murari Gupta was an incarnation of Hanuman, and he didn't want to enter into Braj. And that he was satisfied. He was satisfied. So people are satisfied. Like, I'm satisfied. Like, if someone says, do you want to become president of the United States? No way do I want to become president of the United States. I'm satisfied. It's like, I have one disciple who's trying to make me famous on the internet. And I said, I don't want to be famous. I just want to please Krishna and bring people to Krishna consciousness. So because some of his disciples, we'll do all this stuff on the internet. We'll have some airbrush pictures of you so you look like Batman or something, or like Rambo, or what else? Who else is there? Anyway. And I said, I don't want to be famous. I want to please Prabhupada. Whatever pleases Prabhupada, it's service. Okay, it's not a temporary position. It's a staibhav for many. All right, just one other message, and that's it. Oh, there's the hands. Yeah, bowing down. Okay. That's by Chaitanya Das in Sydney, Australia. Okay, we'll see everybody tomorrow evening, hopefully, or from good old Sacramento, or tomorrow morning, whatever. Sacramento is the colony of Fiji devotees in the United States. It's the refugee colony of devotees from Fiji.